Hello, Donna here. Welcome to my channel, Speaking to Solutions for Transcending Trauma. So I had so many things I wanted to share. I was going to talk about time. I had just heard something kind of mind-blowing about how much time the average person has alive on Earth. And it is 4,000 weeks. And that's a pretty slap in the face perspective, especially since if the average person has 4,000 weeks, I'm already 55. I did the math. That means I have about 1,000 weeks left. So that kind of helps me to make these videos because from the complex trauma, I have a symptom that many people do, which is that that imposter syndrome, or that feeling that you want to hide or isolate, and like to try to give self-compassion. It definitely is birthed from trauma. It's just it's a natural thing. I don't think it's we don't isolate just for I can't think of a negative reason, but it's self-protective. The unconscious goes through so many adverse, I'm sorry, I'm looking at my hair puffing out, it's bothering me. So many, adverse experiences with other human beings. And, naturally then it goes into self-protective mode and wants to isolate, And so I think awareness is, like anything. Like, so if there's an alcoholic, sorry, I'm having such a bad angle. This is better. So, they know, like with addiction, like with an alcoholic, the first thing is the awareness of the addiction, the awareness to admit that they're an alcoholic. But of course, that's not enough. Like, could you admit you're an alcoholic and keep drinking to, a point of excess that negatively affects your life? Sure. So it's once you have the awareness, and then you choose to take the healthy action. So, I have this awareness that I tend to isolate. And by isolate, I mean, for me, that means not foraging like close physical relationships. And I don't just mean like intimate sexual relationships when I say that. I mean like relationships in the physical, like actually socializing and doing things with people. I've had a lot of pain and trauma around relationships. So naturally my unconscious, kind of tries to keep me small and isolated. So, like I like to speak to the solutions. I mean, one, the perspective of knowing, I don't know if I said it, that if there's 4,000 weeks left, or 4,000 weeks in the average life, and I'm 55, that means I have roughly 1,000 weeks left. And so even though I have come to enjoy my own time, my own self, time with myself, like being alone. And there's nothing wrong with being alone per se. Like, you can be alone and have it be healthy and restorative in that, or you could, it's kind of the percentage, or you could do it all of the time, and where it's not healthy, and where, like I only have roughly 1,000 weeks left, depending on if I die at the average age of like 77, or live longer or die sooner, I really don't know exactly how much time I have left, but on average, I have maybe 1,000 weeks left. So, using this time, in a way that is most fulfilling for me, and, bringing in the awareness of the behaviors of the, like they call them maladaptive, meaning, it's a way, it's not a normal adaptation to life. It's maladaptive because of trauma. So like isolating is not adaptive living, it's maladaptive living. So, I see it so much, like people that have been through trauma, and, they always say, I'll just spend the rest of my life alone with my animals. I say it too, and really like loving, kind, reciprocal, healthy, safe relationships bring so much joy to life. Sorry, look, I can't even say it. They bring so much joy to life. So, like having this awareness, and then, so what do? I'm searching for solutions, like the addiction thing, any maladaptive thing. The first step is awareness, having awareness of your pattern of behavior, being aware of what you're unconsciously doing. Like, just look at yourself and your patterns. Have I gone out much to socialize and experience joy with others? I do get some of that met every Sunday in church, and I really want to thank the people there. And I don't want to minimize at all the power of God, because I believe He hooked me up with the church I go to. It's going to take me a little while too, also having that compassion and patience to know that I'm not going to just all of a sudden, nor are you. Don't expect yourself to just immediately start not isolating and to just connect to others and feel safe in that and just move along, Although I think, like, the thought, what's the next step, always helps. Yes, I lived through these adverse relationships. I've, unconsciously started to really fear relationships with others. What is the next step, But my church has, I've been there, I think, a couple of years now. Maybe 1.5, maybe 2, I don't remember. But it has, like, started to show me that there is safety around people. They're very loving, and I know, like, church and religion can be a very triggering topic, and I want to, like, respect and honor that. I know a lot of people have, like, their own trauma around religion and the way people have used it to manipulate or dominate them, so I can understand that. But just, like, I think that the first step is finding safety and community, because a lot of things can happen behind closed doors, and, manipulation and mistreatment and that often happens behind closed doors. And so, like, I think one of the first steps to finding safety is finding community. And that could be a church, it could be a running group, it could be art classes, it could be a university, it could be anywhere. I think first, safety and community, because, like, not saying you can't get hurt in a group, you certainly can, but the odds are, like, we're trying to find healthy experiencing, safety places. And so then, I guess, so the first step, I think, is finding safety and community, so before you start the one-on-one, and then, easing into one-on-one relationships, find safety and community. And in the community, you're going to notice there's going to be people that you vibe with, that feel safe for you, and there's going to be people that don't. And so just, again, with the awareness, paying attention to who feels good for you. I think one of the number one things to find a safe relationship is to really honor the feelings in your body. We talk so much about thinking about things, and we've been taught really to use our minds. And there are 2 nerves that go from the brain to the body sending data, but there's 3 nerves that go from the body to the brain sending data. And we often learn to override that, like our intuition, our gut feelings, And then, like, I know I've also then shamed my gut feelings, like where I have a gut feeling about someone and then I shame myself. That's a lot of conditioning and societal conditioning, we can love people and still feel uncomfortable around them and still have some gut intuition that they don't feel safe for us. It doesn't mean we have to hate them. It just means not to forage a close, deep connection with them because they don't feel safe for you. And, it's enough to not totally analyze it. It's enough to trust your own body's feelings. I've had this before where I felt something immediately about someone and I overrode that intuition, and then I ended up getting extremely hurt by that person. So, maybe even that person's just not vibing with our energy. Maybe that person feels good for other people. Maybe a lot of people feel good around that person, or maybe they can't see dysfunction and you can because you've lived through it. So you have some knowledge and experience around it. So just trusting your own body. Like, I'm thinking too, that can be a little dangerous when we trust butterflies and impulsive behaviors. Those, take a deep breath and allow time. Time is our friend also, even though it's finite. Not to create urgency. I only got 1,000 weeks, It is our friend in that it allows people to unfold for us and for them to really show us who they are, and how they behave and if it feels safe and comfortable for us or not. So I would start with, the solution. Start with community, start connecting in a bigger group setting so you can feel a little safe. It's in public, it's someone can't really deeply hurt you there. I mean, they could maybe psychologically, but again, to the body. If you're feeling something in your body, or even like sometimes you can get group mentality if you feel like the group dynamic somewhere are off, trust your beautiful body and just disconnect from that place and go search elsewhere. So I would say find safety and community first, then trust your body's wisdom. That is the first, but to get out there, go into community, trust your body's wisdom, and then pay attention to who feels comfortable to you, who feels good in your body. And then also, really a great way is to notice how you feel a couple days after being with someone, that day and after, really paying attention to the signals your body is giving you. That's why we've got to be really careful. Like, predatory type relationships try to connect extremely quick and they want to see you every day. And at first it feels really good. Well, they always want to be with me, but actually you have to allow a few days in between, especially in the beginning. Like, once you learn they're safe, you can see them more and more, but give yourself time to let things absorb into the nervous system and into the psyche and do some reflection and really pay attention. Like, I know I've been around some people recently and I felt emotionally drained and I couldn't put my finger exactly. There was like little insidious things, but I don't even need to do a bunch of the mind gymnastics. It's enough to know that my body was drained after, my mood was low, and this just not my people, So just paying attention to those cues. All right, I'll just end with that. Peace out. I only got 1,000 weeks left, so I need to share. All right, peace out.